Hey guys, hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So I posted a video, a short a while back, and reacting to a story that went viral here on YouTube. It's about this Nigerian woman, an older woman that went and proposed to this guy that she had been dating for 7 years, who is younger. And the guy pretty much left her on her knees and was like, no, I don't want to marry you and things like that. And people are just like, there was so many people. She had planned the whole event, and it ended up that the guy rejected and said no, he didn't want to marry her and stuff like that. When the guy was being interviewed, he said no, she's older, like, how can she do something like that? So the whole thing was really embarrassing. And later on, the lady was being interviewed and she's crying and she's talking about how, why would he do something like this? I gave him everything, blah 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 blah. So I did a reaction video because I could relate to the video in that I spent about 6 years of my life that I felt like kind of got wasted. Let me just clarify that at first, like early on, I never wanted to be married. The marriages that I saw around me were not great, and I really was not looking forward to being married. It was just something that I never got excited for. I didn't have a goal for it, or whatever. And so it took me meeting my husband later on in life for me to change my mind, because he made me feel so amazing and he was so wonderful, and he wanted to also be a dad, and things just kind of worked out really well where, I just felt so happy, and I was like, okay, I can see myself being with this person. So I was in a 6-year situation that pretty much I left and I walked away from. And when I posted the video, a few people left me comments, mostly guys, telling me that the guy didn't want to marry me because of my character. And in that, I'm not going to go into that and try to defend myself about my character, because I'm in the internet. You don't know anything about me, really, if it comes down to it. So I'm not even going to bother trying to defend my character. But I want to say that the reason I left that situation is because it wasn't going anywhere. As far as the goals about me wanting to be a mom was one of the strongest ones. At some point I was like, I'm approaching that, I'm almost near that 30, and it's like, I don't see this is happening where we're going to have kids. So that was a strong one, because the urge for me wanting to be a mom was so intense. And so that was one of the reasons. The marriage part, it was okay. I didn't really care, at the end of the day, whether or not it happened. But it was something about those comments that made me think, like, let me do this video and kind of relate it to what happened, and then also discuss what are some reasons why people reject proposals, So in the video, the guy clarified that the lady was older. That's one of the reasons. And also, she felt like my family is just going to be so embarrassed seeing this. Like, how can you do this? So he just got angry and got worked up, like, excuse me, you're an older woman, how dare you do this, blah blah blah. But all the while, the lady said that she was spending money on this guy, like paying school fees, taking care of him, and all of a sudden, oh, she's too old. But not her. She said, oh, my money's not old, but I'm old, I guess. So the whole thing was kind of sad. But also the other thing I want to stress and say, if as a person, as a woman or a man, you know what you want, do not stick around and try to wait for somebody to change their mind. Do not propose to somebody if they're not looking for that, so don't try to force it just because. Don't try to force marriage because, oh, you guys have kids. You need to be really proposing marriage because this is the person you love, and you don't see life without them. They don't see life without you. That's really what it comes down to. If somebody's like wishy-washy about it, is iffy about it, don't even bother trying to propose, because the chances are you're gonna get the rejection. So some of the reasons that I've seen, like some in real time, some things that I've read, typically the first one is like people that have been divorced a few times, when they get into other relationship, they just don't see marriage, and they don't even bother with that, and discuss with their partners like, hey, I've been divorced, blah 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 blah, I'm not interested in marriage. The person says, okay, we're fine with the situation, let's go on about our lives. The other one is sometimes bad partners. These are the groups of people that sometimes lead people on, people that are maybe abusive, people that are controlling in some way, people that have character issues that that come up that just cannot be fixed. And so you decide that, I'm not interested in marriage. And so even if the person proposes, you're likely gonna reject it. The next one is cultural differences. This is a major one. This is a major one for a lot of people. I know, like some arranged marriages, sometimes if the parents don't agree with the person and they have an issue with the person, and that they're not going to allow you, they're not going to make it peaceful for you to be with the person. So it's like you're fighting battles. And when you start fighting with the family members as well, because there's cultural issues and all that stuff, it becomes really difficult to try to marry the person you want. It's one of the best things to have a supportive family members that are like got your back, like my mom-in-law cares for me and she loves me and things like that. So for me, it's been a smooth transition into being, my husband is Mexican, I'm African. It's been an integration that's been pretty cool. It's not been too many things, of course there's been times that some things came up, but it's not anything where I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is hard and this is I don't know if this is going to work out, so that's so cultural issues plays a role sometimes in that people you know the family members are just really, really all up in you getting together, and they don't approve of one or the other partner. So you are fighting against everything. So another one is that somebody brought up is, the people that are definitely unfaithful. And they just don't want to be with one person. And so they think they do, but when they get involved with someone, all of a sudden the time is just going and they're not bringing up anything about marriage because their eyes are wandering. There's people it's one thing to look, right? But if your eyes are wandering and you're wanting something else, you're looking on the other side, and the person you're with, you're kind of taking them for granted and all that stuff, then you're definitely going to be, that proposal when it comes up, the person's going to be like, I've seen you in action. I'm not interested in marrying you because you've given all the signs that you have wandering eyes. Okay, you're gonna be looking at other people and caring for other people. So the marriage, if you propose in some way, it's not gonna show up. Another thing is just in general, women, please don't propose to a man. Don't discuss marriage to a man, because when you start bringing it up, then you're the one who wants it more. A man has to want it more, because when they want it more, they pursue you and all this stuff. And another comment that came up was somebody said that, oh, why is it that when women get rejected and their proposal declined, all the women are crying, oh my gosh, foul play, but when it's a man, it's done to a man, nobody really cares. It's not a big deal. And I'm like, it should be a big deal. I mean, you're putting your heart on the line and asking someone like, hey, I want to be with you for the rest of my life, and they say no. I mean, I have a son, so things that I talk about, I think about that. I think about that if he came to me and he said, I proposed to a girl when he gets older, and she said no, I would be like, oh my gosh, what happened? Like, is this something workable that you guys can fix? Like, is this something that you need to do, in the future for her to feel comfortable about saying yes? I think that you can try it again sometimes, depending on what the situation is. Like, maybe it wasn't the right time and you try it again, and the next time around it works out. So I don't think it's just like one way that, oh, women are more supported when they're rejected for marriage. I don't think that. I think that, it's just maybe women talk more about it. Men are not going to come on here and say, well, I proposed to this woman and she rejected me. Maybe that's the difference. More men are not talking about it as much. So that's another thing. So in general, when you're with somebody for a long time, like my sister-in-law was talking about how, why is it that somebody will be with you for years, they don't propose marriage, they don't marry you, but the minute that they leave you, all of a sudden they're married, they have kids and all that stuff. Because literally that's kind of what happened to me after I left that situation. I met my husband and I got pregnant a couple months in, and we never looked back. It's been 8 years and we've not looked back. I've been the happiest that I've ever been. And so I realized that because for me, I would say somebody saw me, they showed me that I was the one they wanted. They were sure about me. They didn't put conditions on anything. That's the reason why right after a couple months, I met someone, because this person showed me another side. They showed me I was the hottest, the most beautiful thing they ever saw, and I feel that way till this day. This person didn't. The ex did not do that. So for me, when I met this person, I'm like, yes, I didn't have to think about it. It's a yes, because, oh my gosh, you're an amazing dad. Like, why not? So all the reasons were there. So when people are like, oh, how come I know there's men out there that sometimes lead women and they say all the things that women want to hear. But at the same time, one of the things that I do regret is just wasting time and not realizing, you know what? This person, we are not compatible. That's another reason that you can decline, and not want to marry somebody, is you realize you're not compatible the longer you are together, because it takes time to know people, really. So sometimes that's enough time to figure out, like, hey, in so many ways we're not compatible. We don't agree with a lot of things, like one of the things my ex brought up was he wanted to adopt and help other kids, and I was like, that's great, but I wanted to have my own first. And he was like, hey, this is something I want to do. And I was like, it's great, but I have to have my own first. And the own was dragging. It's like, okay, one time I thought I was pregnant, in the relationship, and I told him, and his response was not good for me. His response was not. It was kind of like, oh, I'm still in school. Oh, I need to do this and I need to do that. We're not prepared, really. And I kind of looked at him. I said, wow, you know, that gave me the answer that I needed. Because I remember when I got pregnant, when I met my husband, like, I told him, and he was like, okay, we got to figure out how we're going to get a stroller. We need a bigger car for, you know, to fit the car seat. And I just saw that he was stressed out a little bit just because financially I wasn't working at the time. And he, you know, his job is a lot. So he was just like, okay, I got to figure this out. And that was where his mind is, because that's something he wanted. There was no thinking about it. He knew he wanted it. So that was the difference. So sometimes, you know, it's just realizing that you're not compatible with someone. Oh, I don't know why my back is itching. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because the comments definitely, you know, brought up that it had to do with my character flaw. And I just wanted character flaw. So I just wanted to bring up that there's reasons why sometimes people decline proposals and why people don't marry somebody in a relationship that has to do with that don't have to do with their character per se. It can have to do with other things that are popping up that you realize, or somebody has a drug problem or a something problem that shows up after you've been dating, let's say a couple of years, and you realize like, uh-oh, this person is now going down that road that is just not working. And so you decide like, you know what? Let's just end it. There's no point in trying to drag it on and one day marry later, you know. And as I said, I don't feel like you should get married just because you have kids together. That's not a valid reason. The valid reason at the core of it should be that you love this person. You don't see the life without them. Like, life is just amazing with them, and they make you feel amazing. They add so much to your life and things like that. Those are the core of the reasons why you should get. It's not some kind of like, I'm marrying because, well, he has a good job or she has a good job. That's not how that, for me, that's never been my core. I wanted somebody that I was happy with, because there was guys definitely that offered marriage that had all of that, and I wasn't happy. They didn't make me feel any like excitement. I didn't see life with them. I saw just awkwardness and all this other stuff, and I was like, no, I'm not interested in the marriage. Or they looked good on paper, my family would approve in some way, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't. So just don't assume that just because somebody didn't want to marry someone, it's not because, or the person walked away and didn't want to get married to the person, it's because something was wrong with them, because there's other reasons why. All right, guys, I've talked enough. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.